So my name is Jim Williams, and I'm going to talk about my favorite project, sustainability here at Msheireb Downtown Doha. I worked as a sustainability manager here for the project manager, Time Qatar, from 2015 to 2020, and I started on the project in 2012. So as a mechanical engineer, my passion is energy and water savings, and the water story at Msheireb Downtown Doha is very interesting. So what makes it so interesting is any time that we can save drinking water, we save energy. Why? Because drinking water in Doha comes from desalination, which is an energy-intensive process. So if we can reduce our reliance or our amount of water we use, drinking water, and we replace it with non-drinking water, that reduces our total energy use and makes our development more sustainable. So water's the topic. We have a short video that talks about water recovery. Then after the video, I'm going to use the development and point to different things and try to explain how the whole process works. Okay? And then after the presentation, I'll be available and back if anybody has any specific questions. I'm more than happy to answer them. So let's see if I can get this to work.
What makes Msheireb Downtown Doha the smartest and most sustainable fully built city district in the world? Water consumption. In Qatar, sanitary water is treated for irrigation, but at Msheireb Downtown Doha, we take it a few steps further. Our water is further treated through a two-stage reverse osmosis process. Treated water comes out of a high-tech treatment plant and gets stored in customized non-drinking basement tanks that are kept separate from the main drinking water supply. Water production. Stormwater is collected in collection tanks, then treated before being transferred to the same non-drinking basement tanks. And the same process happens from the condensate water collected from the air ventilation systems. Who would have thought that collecting water in the desert was possible? Our customized basement tanks hold high-quality non-drinking water that's not only suitable for irrigation, but also for toilet flushing, and for the district cooling plant as well. The three areas that normally use a large amount of drinking water. In our city district, we are able to reduce our drinking water requirement by 75%. And that is one of the many reasons that makes Msheireb Downtown Doha the smartest and most sustainable fully built city district in the world.
Great, so there's a lot of information there, and I want to break it down and explain how it's all done. So we start with the non-potable water source that comes from Ashgal, and it comes into the project behind the Mشيرب mosque here. And so that's where it comes in down in the basement, and it's put through the two-stage reverse osmosis process. That cleans up the water to lower the total dissolved solids. Then it can be used for the three uses that we talked about. For irrigation, okay, and so these trees right along here are all irrigated by the non-potable water. Any gardens are irrigated by Karama, the drinking water that we have. So there's some gardens on the roof, some roofs of some of the buildings, and then behind Msheireb Mosque near Mohammed bin Jassim Museum, there's a garden there. That's served by drinking water. The second one is, of course, flushing water, which we know we use throughout the development, and then it's for the district cooling plant. So there's one district cooling plant that's located where the water comes in, so it's very convenient, and that's right next to Mohammed bin Jassim. And the second district cooling plant, the cooling towers are located on building Q, which is down this way on the roof. So you don't really see it unless you're at a really high building looking down. The district cooling plant uses water because the process it uses evaporation. So the cooling tower, the water evaporates, and then the remaining water absorbs the heat from the refrigeration cycle. So there's a lot of makeup water that has to be used. So with that, and then of course with the flushing water and the irrigation, we lower the total amount by 75%. So the water comes in, the non-potable water, and then we're going to also pump it to non-drinking, sometimes I say potable, but potable and drinking are the same thing, non-drinking water tanks. And there's a tank located right here below, 3 levels below. And the project is broken down into 21 super blocks. Each one of these super blocks has this tank down in the basement. So we have a tank in the basement served by non-drinking water, and then this water comes up and it goes to either irrigation or it goes to the flushing water. Because we have this non-drinking water all over the site, there's now an opportunity to recover water. So you say, well, okay, we're in the desert, how do we recover water? Well, one way we can recover it is for rainwater. So as we know, it doesn't rain too much in Doha, but when it does rain, it comes down like cats and dogs. So next to this non-potable, non-drinking water tank is a stormwater tank. And so the stormwater tank takes water from the roof, so the roofs of all these buildings here, the roof, all the drainage here, and goes down to the stormwater collection tank. So that water gets a little dirty as it gets the dirt and the dust, and it needs to be filtered, and then it needs to be put through chlorine before it goes back into the non-potable water tank. So 40% of our project has this. So that means the 3 DAQ buildings here, the cultural forum, all the buildings here, the school, the townhomes, and then all the way down to the first cross street there, all these buildings have this system. So we're collecting rainwater, and the tank is quite big because you have to collect it all at one go, okay? But as we know, it only rains for a few months during the rainy season here. So it would be nice if we had another source of water that we could collect that would keep the mechanical system going, all the pumps moving and the system going. And we do, and it's air conditioning condensate. So air conditioning condensate comes from the air conditioning process. So the way I describe it is, if you think of your car when you're idling, if you leave your car in the street, you'll see water dripping out of your car. That's hot, humid air. The water's been taken out, and that's why it's dry inside your car. If you can imagine that on a much, much bigger scale, all these buildings around here have ventilation air, and there's literally water pouring off these units that can be collected. The amount of water that could be collected from these buildings is about 4 or 5 times the amount of rainwater that's collected. So that means when we have a lot of condensate, and condensate starts to get collected from the air conditioning system maybe February or March, and then it continues all summer through now. Really, it maybe just goes off a little bit in December, but there's condensate coming all year round, pretty much. And this keeps the mechanical systems moving, transferring water, collecting, and then basically supplementing that non-drinking water that we have coming from Ashgal. So that's 40% of the project. The other 50% of the project was done actually by a different designer. So it looks like one cohesive design. It is one cohesive design because there was a master plan that said exactly how things should be laid out and what they should look like and what our sustainability goals were. But how it was exactly implemented was a little different between phases. So the designers for the other 50% of the project, they decided they didn't want to put the assets in, didn't want to put the big tanks in for the stormwater recovery. So what they do is they just take that clean condensate, because when the condensate comes off your car, it's clean enough, people use it to water plants if they have a bucket underneath the air conditioner. That water just goes right into your non-potable or non-drinking water tank and then gets pumped right back up into the building. So this is a simple and effective way of supplementing the amount of water we're using for the non-drinking water. So that's the story about water recovery within the project. But the air conditioning condensate is cold. So is there a way we could recover the cooling from this? And there is. And so one of the phases, so this is where the Park Hyatt is and the buildings around there. The design of that phase has the cold water from that condensate collected in an insulated tank. And then that water pre-cools the drinking water. So if you go to the Park Hyatt or you have an apartment over near there, the water coming out of your tap is cold. So when you brush your teeth or you wash vegetables, you have cold water, cool water. I wouldn't say cold. So what happens is the water from the condensate pre-cools this water, and then we use the chiller plant to cool the rest. So that's a second innovative aspect of the project. So in summary, the project recovers water on 2 different methods. One is rainwater, one is condensate. The project uses non-potable water or non-drinking water, which saves up to 75% of the drinking water. This lowers the carbon footprint of the project and helps the project meet its sustainability goals. So this is what I'd like to talk about today, and it helps Msheireb Downtown Doha be the first sustainable regeneration project in the world. Thank you.